It is 4:30, actually 5:30 on the East Coast and a cat. It is 2:30 on the West Coast and more of a cat. Son, I need you to move. It is the 9th of July in the year of our Lord 2023, Season 5, Episode 4. The Cheap Podcast is live on the air. Tonight's an experiment for both shows, so stick with us. Thank you for joining us, whether you're live on YouTube, whether you're live on Facebook for the first time, or for the first time ever, we're live on Twitch. And we're going to talk all about that in the other show because that pertains to the other show. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast and the Cheap Podcast, which is what you're watching now, because up in that corner of your screen, I don't even know how it looks. I can't tell if I'm mirror imaged or not. Is the logo. Like, we're fancy and stuff now. We are your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. So happy to have you with us after our hiatus, but we are back. 2/3 of us are. Don out on assignment tonight, but as you see, is he that way? He might be that way. I don't know. He's on that side of your screen. This is the worst episode of the Brady Bunch ever. He is my co-host, looking all fancy just like me. He is Alex.
Well, I don't know if you could notice, but it was a very particular shirt for this show.
Is that the MJF shirt?
It is, but I want to test something real quick and just be like, "Yep, that's the logo
there
right
it is.
there."
So yeah, so it's actually okay. So it's the right version. Oh, I should have just read my shirt. That would have told me I'm not a mirror image. Very classy shirt, might I add. Want to thank everybody for sticking with us. We have been off for a couple of weeks. Father's Day, we had some technical difficulties. Then I was out of town for Greater Austin. We'll talk about that on the other show. Then last week, of course, was my birthday. Thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out as I turned 50. And yesterday received my first Welcome to the 50s Club piece of mail from AARP. That actually happened.
If it makes you feel any better, I saw that and went, "Ooh, I kind of want one."
I kind of did the same thing. I'm like, it's a collapsible thing. I can keep, but I'm not retired. That's what the R means. I'd like to be. Don't get me wrong. I also have noticed the lag in the pre-show is not here now, and you look a little clearer than you did before.
That might be a bad thing. I apologize to anybody seeing this clearly.
Can we send a quick shout out to the people at StreamYard?
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about how I learned about StreamYard on the other show too, because we have got a lot to talk about. This was a lot going on this week in our sport. Last weekend, Money in the Bank was a thing. Alex and I did watch it. We chose not to deconstruct it just because it was my birthday weekend and I wanted to relax.
And we had a lot of moving parts.
in the aftermath of the sushi mania that resulted from lunch that day.
Yes.
But it was the highest grossing arena event in the history of the company at almost $5.5 million.
Nice.
Which was amazing. Not a bad show, not a great show, but not a bad show. But
I have a hard time thinking of anything that would be truly memorable from it, but it wasn't bad in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of moments I was kind of like, I kind of wish that kind of gone a different way. But the show finished strong. The crowd was absolutely on fire the entire time. And they've been telling the story since. So I can't complain. We want to send a quick shout out to the WCW guy, formerly known as Lodi. He is recovering after quintuple bypass surgery.
And I believe that's all of them.
I think you ran out at that point, but
yeah,
he is
at that point you're done.
In a good way.
Yes.
But we want to send our best out to him and hope that his recovery is going well, as it seems to be according to his social media posts. We have the official announcement for Survivor Series. It will be at the Allstate Arena November the 25th. So that will be the weekend before Thanksgiving, if my quick math serves me correctly. Also, tickets will go on sale on T-shirts. Tickets for Fastlane will go on sale this week as well. And your next Saudi show is back on for November the 4th. So another month in the month of November where there's going to be a lot of pleas and things of that nature. Just kind of like June was. June was absolutely insane from a special event standpoint. July slowing down a little bit, but I'm sure things will pick back up in the fall.
Well,
Monday
interestingly
Night
enough,
Raw.
UFC tangentially is picking up July.
You know how I feel about that.
Yes.
As we get into Monday Night Raw, if you're ready, sir.
Oh, I am ready.
And you're going to see a lot more tech stuff. I'm just now learning StreamYard because I'm doing a lot more cool stuff coming up. So stick around for that. Congratulations to Natty.
Yes.
She set 6 Guinness World Records last weekend. Most matches overall for a woman in WWE history. Most pay-per-view matches. Most WrestleMania matches. Most wins. Most matches on Raw. And most matches on SmackDown.
Now, to clarify, that was already confirmed previously. What she actually received was the official record from Guinness while they were over in London.
But I wanted to make sure that because we didn't get to talk about it, I want to make sure that we put it out there.
Oh, no. I just wanted to clarify in case anybody was like, well, that's already been. Yeah, we know.
Remember, we've been off for 3 weeks. There's a lot of stuff we could be talking about, too.
And nobody as deserving as Natty for all of those.
This show, a big fan of the Natty. So, and get ready for next Monday night on Raw. Stephen Amell will be there as he is not only best friends with Cody Rhodes, but getting ready to promote the upcoming season of Heels. I still need to go back and watch the last 2 episodes so that I'm ready. And I'm
still waiting for your reaction.
And still trying to avoid as much. If I see anything related to it on social media, I'm just scrolling. Answer me this. ProWrestlingTees.com featuring / the Cheap Podcast. They are now carrying DWF merch. Is that new, or did that happen during season 1?
There was some teases of it because Amell had his own store. This is the first time there has been a Heels dedicated store.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if that was a new thing, but I was like, I don't want to announce it, and Alex go, yeah, it's been there for like 3 years, dude.
No. It was discussed, and Amell had, I want to say, one DWF shirt on there, but now this Heels has its own store.
Because you are our ProWrestlingTees.com correspondent. So.
Well, I am the connection.
I don't understand how you can still have a world heavyweight champion and an undisputed champion. Can we just name that other belt something else? Because if you're undisputed, then you're already the world heavyweight champion.
But at that same time, they're calling it the Undisputed Universal.
Which then doubles down on the whole concept.
Yeah. It contradicts itself within its own name.
Yeah. I got to say this, though. Seth is so good at selling being interrupted. Nobody sells it better than Seth Rollins. It's just the look of
at some point, very soon, we are probably just going to get a conductor Seth Rollins shirt because the way he knows how to orchestrate a crowd, I don't know if we've seen anybody in a very long time that can do it that well.
Did you notice the backstage marquee on Monday night?
I believe I did, but please share.
All it said was more Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
But Money in the Bank was over before, and this is not a sequel. I'm very confused.
I feel like it was just left over and somebody was just having fun with it to see if anybody noticed.
See, I want that on every show. Just like we have our lower third watch for Adam Page, I want that for Raw now.
Yes.
Oh, goodness mercy. I need to charge that up, I guess. I've been rearranging things in the studio as well. I've taken the large board we've always had, and I've gone down to the smaller board, and I'll be using the large board for larger events because we don't have 19 people in the studio anymore. And part of it was I moved the iPad, and I forgot to plug the charger cable into it. So
that might be important.
I need to see where that is. That's going to be here. We forgot to test that. See if this works. Oh yeah, there we go.
Sounds good.
All right, let's keep it moving. Somebody's watching the show because I said something about a month ago on this show about the commercial breaks on Raw. Do you remember what I said? How almost all of them,
not specifically,
were 3 minutes and 16 seconds long.
Yes,
that has stopped.
Yes,
They're now right at 3 minutes. So something's going on. Somebody's watching the show. I'm just saying.
I almost wonder if it was somebody at Hulu, though.
Don't mess with me. Not the best Trish promo ever.
You know, I'm going to say something very incendiary. Name me something Trish has done that I should care about since this return.
I don't like this bit.
It's not even the
Never been
bit.
a fan of her as the heel. I never have been.
But my other problem with this is I'm feeling like she's being exposed as the fact that she wasn't good. She was just better than the garbage they had otherwise. I'm more worried that this is exposing the flaws that she has always had, but because everybody else has gotten so much better, she seems that much more terrible.
It's very possible.
And I get the idea of like, let's put Zoe Stark with her so she looks less wooden. Guess what? You both look like Pinocchio. Move along.
We also want to let you know that we do have, no matter where you're watching us right now, if you're watching live, we have our ability to see your comments in the chat. So make sure you're checking on that. And if it's one I particularly like, I can push a button and look what happens. Shabuya. I'm just saying. Oh, our names went away, though. Did you see that?
Yes.
And then we came
Well,
back.
you want to give focus to the comment, not too much.
All right.
Another shout out to StreamYard. That's a smart little touch.
We also want to say hello to Jackie Redmond, who actually joined the show the weekend before. She was part of the Money in the Bank pre-show. So welcome to her. Let's see here. Corey Graves.
Nothing
Corey
good is
Graves.
coming.
I'm more of a fan than I used to be, but that mustache has to go. That mustache is unstable. It's borderline frightening. I don't dig it, Corey Graves. Now, if the lovely Carmella, if it's her bag, okay, I can roll with it. But I kind of find it maybe she doesn't either because it's just unstable.
Allow me to say I have a note about the mustache that I will not read on this show.
Okay, fair enough. Also, it is now no longer officially the Raw Women's Championship. It is now the Women's World Championship. So adjust your roster accordingly. Because if I'm not mistaken, they said it was a Raw Women's title match on Money in the Bank when they pitched it for Monday night. I thought it still said Raw Women's Championship on the graphic.
I do not remember that. I thought they would just went with Women's Championship and used the graphic.
Because I heard it and went, that doesn't seem normal.
Everybody's getting used to new things.
Fair enough. Let's see here. And Ricochet has a scales of justice charm on that necklace. I'm just saying. When I hear that Alter Bridge has done his theme, you heard it here first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because these are the things I noticed. I found my charging cable. Hold on a second.
Although it was kind of interesting. Did you see the headline about the brawl, the pull apart brawl at Money in the Bank and why it was done?
With him and Paul?
Yes.
I've read a couple of different reports. Son, you are more active during the show now than you have been in the last 3 years combined. What's going on with you? You can sit right there. You can't walk all over the desk. This is the Hunter's here. You can kind of see him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's been kind of a jerk face today. He's in jerk face mode. Logan Paul Ricochet was unprofessional. Ricochet going, you botched the spot. I did like his reaction on Twitter. Well, now he knows how we feel when they put him in the match.
Yep. But at that same time, the idea that if you're blending those, the fact that the Spanish fly to the tables was botched by Paul.
Absolutely. 100%.
They figured that they couldn't use that as the advertisement, so they decided to just film a brawl in the back so that they could sell the match that's upcoming, probably at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because we'll get schmaz after schmaz until then because B stories.
Yep. Let's see. Any other notes that you have for Raw before we keep it moving?
You know, I really dug how they've been building this story with Judgment Day. That's the only other thing that I really have is I love the build where you have the dissension of Priest looking like he might cash in, Balor being like, why are you interrupting? I'm about to win the title that I deserve. And how it kind of has the whole group at each other a little bit. Not a big fan of the fact that Dirty Dom has become an official statement, but you know what? They cut the checks. But I really dig how they've been telling this Priest Balor aspect of that grouping. with the Money in the Bank cash in, how Priest has done it, because as we know, if you chant "you deserve it" to Punishment Martinez when he doesn't expect it, he's going to take a second to figure out how to play with the crowd.
You may not, but we do.
Yeah.
Because that was not a televised. Oh no, they did that on Honor Club.
They did. Right? That was the first one that they wound up doing live. That was a house show.
Safety.
Safety. That Safety was the one before it.
Oh, was it? Okay. Because that one they did that one too on Honor Club. That's how I have the screenshot. I'm interested to see. Did you see the picture of the four of them standing in front of the airplane?
In front of the airplane? No, I did not.
So it's Rhea out of makeup, and it's just kind of them. I think they're getting ready to get on the plane to go to Raw for the first time. And I'm wondering if they're going to play this up. But for the first time, Dom was wearing something representing San Diego.
Oh, I did see. I didn't see the one in front of the plane, but I saw the Padres hat. And it was a jersey.
No, well, in front of the plane, he was wearing a jacket.
Oh, okay, because he was wearing a jersey at another point.
Like a rain jacket. So I'm wondering if they're going to start playing up the only Mysterio that matters in the 619. If that's going to come up. And if not,
I'm kind of done with them at this point. I'm kind of done with the Mysterio versus Mysterio bit.
What do we know about WWE?
Well, until Aaliyah gets a full unhinged slap in Dom's face, I'm not in.
NXT, congratulations to the Drew Gulak. He is opening a school in Philly, which I can't spell Philly correctly on the run sheet, apparently. And his other trainers will be Wheeler Yuta and Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. You could do a lot worse. That's all I'm saying.
And he will have many guest trainers coming through. But all I could think was, if you were going to learn from somebody, like if you handpicked people to train you from each of the biggest three companies, not counting Impact, would you not say Drew Gulak, Wheeler Yuta, and Hot Sauce Tracy Williams?
Like I said, you could do a lot less, brother.
I mean, that's really it. The only thing you don't have is somebody to teach a Dusty class. That's it. That's the only thing you're missing from that school.
Notes from the show. I like the spot with Kalani Jordan where she did the suplex reversal into the stunner. That actually looked pretty cool to me. I enjoyed that very much.
She is rough around the edges like crazy, though. I can see that. I did not like the result, but I can see why the potential.
Underground should either start the show or end the show logistically. Having that happen in the middle of the show where you have to break the ring down and then put the ring back together. Now, I'm not saying that wasn't done and then they just stuck it in the middle. But doing that in the middle of the show logistically, as we know, and even when it was done at the end of a show, still takes forever. MLW, we're talking to you.
That is also true. But that's also why, as bad as Raw Underground was, it made perfect sense because it was somewhere else. You didn't have to worry about the breakdown or the setup.
I kind of liked it on NXT better, though, for some reason. And I can't tell you why.
Because it actually had some energy inside the arena?
I'm still not sold on this. Is it Eddie Thorpe? Is that his name?
Yes. But I was trying to remember that before. It was because remember, he was the guy for New Japan Strong when they started off. And I couldn't remember his name for some reason. But the real only change is he had the Native American gear. He still had the necklace. He still had the earrings or whatever. But he went from having hair to a buzzed head, and it just looks unstable to me.
And apparently he's a DJ too.
Why not?
Okay. Let's see here. And forgive me for forgetting the lady that does the ring announcing for NXT because I like her a lot. But if you're going to do the bit where you drop the old school MSG thing that's got the two mics on it, use both of them or stand between.
Center yourself. Yeah.
Grab the one on the right side, and it was like, well, this just ruins the bit. You know.
Well, even Sean was watching, and she just goes, "Why is she only using one of them?"
I was very confused.
And that's a person who's never seen the MSG bit.
And I will say, I honestly expected a Gable Stevenson turn in that match.
They want him to be something so badly, and I just don't care.
Well, and he has said he wants to run heel, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, the problem is that he's too much of a heel in real life, and that's why he's been buried for this long.
Fair enough.
And
anything
we're
else
not going to talk about it, but you can Google.
Anything else before we get to Dynamite?
No, it was nice to see Blair Davenport get a win. I just wish it wasn't at Roxanne's expense.
Be a better name.
Big surprise in the main event, though.
Oh yeah, I said I prefer Bea Priestley as a name.
Bea Priestley.
Yeah. But yeah, that main event to me could have gone either way.
Yeah, but I had the results of the main event spoiled for somebody. What?
No, go ahead. Oh, we're back on the delay again. I think. But go ahead.
I had the results of the main event spoiled for me by somebody who was in the arena. So when you were talking about, oh, I guess that we know where this is going, and I just went,
Odd.
Yeah.
AEW, the mogul affiliates are now down a person as Trench has left the company.
That's not a loss. That's addition by subtraction at this point.
I had to Google to remember who he was.
The dude did nothing but look big and weird.
Yeah. And Diamante is officially All Elite now. She has signed. So she gets to hang out with.
But I believe she will be a Rampage Collision signee.
Somebody's watching the show because now we had the Lethal Lottery, and I'm happy. It's a little unstable the way they're doing it.
You know, I have been waiting for weeks to have this conversation with you.
I like it.
Because you have called for it for years.
But I feel like we're really telegraphing this with MJF and Adam Cole.
Baby.
Okay. We have a little bit of a delay.
But we've said it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Mm-hmm. And I do like what they're doing with the both of them. So, Keith Lee has dark hair again.
Thank God.
It took me a minute. I was like, something. Oh.
Yeah, the gray doesn't work.
And I would like to send a quick tip out to the people at AEW in the back. If the crowd is chanting and part of the chant is maybe a word you can't say on television, maybe don't cut to the crowd so we can read their lips and remove all doubt if you're not going to mute it. I'm just saying.
But at the same time, remember, they're the edgy company.
Are they, though?
Turner Broadcasting has said they don't want to be PG.
And God, speaking of going back to what we talked about, God bless Adam Cole.
Baby.
For doing everything he can not to break in those segments with MJF. Because you can see it. You can see it clear as day in certain moments. Like, he's about to start laughing. He's about to break. Yep. This is SNL. It's about to happen. And then he kind of he reels it back in. And I feel like this is now MJF's purpose in life, to break Adam Cole. It just is.
Baby. Yeah, but it's that entrance. Mimicking the entrance about killed me.
And just the look on Cole's face of, what are you doing? Dude,
yeah.
What are you doing?
And the fact that they bonded over both hating Shivani kills me.
You leave Schiavone alone.
Are you kidding me? He's probably the one pitching it to them.
That's true, but I can work in kayfabe every once and again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anything else that you noticed from Dynamite?
Not particularly from Dynamite. I really kind of dug with this Lethal Lottery going back to the Swerve Lee tag team and how that dynamic really did kind of work out. And I enjoyed going back to that concept, especially against two smaller guys. Keith Lee always works best with smaller people because he can either A, throw them around, or B, surprised by almost keeping up with them. But nobody can keep up with Darby Allin. But it's really, really well done. And I kind of dig. I feel like this might be your test run for the Lethal Lottery. I think we might get a special exactly how Rob wants it based on how this is working out.
Well, And I'm waiting for the day when Keith Lee and Adam Cole
Baby
are in that ring, and Lee just looks at him and goes, "Hey, remember what happened the last time we were in the ring together? Remember? You remember when I threw you into the 14th row? You remember that?" I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
The Pounce of Doom.
New Japan Strong has some new champions. Eddie Kingston is your new openweight champion, and because of that, he is now in the G1. Cannot compete at Death Before Dishonor, which comes up a week from this Friday, and it will be on pay-per-view at Honor Club. Here's a puppies. And Stardom's Julia, Giulia, is your new women.
Very, very talented wrestler. She actually had a swim through AEW a couple years ago with a shaved head, was not utilized well, but she has become the preeminent star in Stardom.
And in news that we already knew, but they needed to announce anyway, Wrestle Kingdom 18, January 4th at the Tokyo Dome, as it is every year, but it's halfway through the year, so now we have to start hyping it. So there's that. You got that going for you, which is nice.
Yeah.
Anything on New Japan?
No, that was actually it. If you really want to see something where reality comes through in the best of ways, New Japan does this cool thing that other companies have tried to mimic with the press conferences. Go watch Eddie Kingston talking after winning that title from Kenta. Oh my God.
He's always great. And I'm trying to get in the habit now of making sure that there's nothing else you guys want to talk about before we move on, because I tend to run at a breakneck pace, as friend of the show, Craig Price, has said on multiple occasions. Yeah. Steve Macklin, injured during the Australia tour. He will be out for Slammiversary, and that's coming up this Saturday, brother.
Yeah. It's sneaking up fast.
So,
but and in other Macklin household news, congratulations to Deanna Purrazzo for graduating.
Oh, did she? That.
Sorry, did I lose you?
Of it. Oh. Nope, you're frozen right now.
Yes,
but
she officially has finished college.
Okay. And Trey Miguel now engaged to the Ashley D'Amboise. Is that how you say her name? She's from Fort Lauderdale. She has made many appearances on both AEW and Ring of Honor currently. Alex looks very confused currently. Not sure what's going on.
I'm sorry, you dropped out on that one. Who is he? Who is Trey Miguel engaged to?
D'Amboise, is that how you say her name? She's been on AEW and ROH quite a bit lately. She's from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, Ashley D'Amboise.
Yeah, I was verifying the pronunciation therein.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I'm having some audio issues where it's dropping out.
So, show notes. I really need to know where this Dirty Dango thing is going. It's just circling the drain for me right now.
I just wanted to keep circling until Tyler Breeze saves the day.
Well, he's now a champion. He won a belt at an indie show over the weekend in Tennessee. And did you watch it? Please tell me you watched Impact.
No, I did not.
Joe frickin' Hendry.
As usual.
Did you read what happened?
No.
So he is confronted backstage by ABC, I believe. No, who's he feuding with right now? Oh, Kenny King and the other guy.
King. Yeah.
Kenny King and the other guy. And he's like, well, maybe we should have a tag match at Slammiversary. And they're like, do you not see this is 2-on-1? Do you not have a partner? And he goes, well, all I have to do is say his name. Say his name and he appears. His name is Yumura. And here again, they do and he comes in. He literally comes into the ring like this. I'm just like, I can and I can't with this guy. This is one of the most brilliant things I have seen in years. And the only thing that would make this Joe Hendry thing better is if they teamed him and LA Knight up, and then the world is over because Jesus on that day.
But he had an interview segment elsewhere with Giselle Shaw as well. And when she did the say his name turning into smile, he just went, that's it. I'm out. And he just walked off.
I love this guy. I've loved this guy since Ring of Honor.
Yes.
But Impact seems to have taken that bit and just multiplied it exponentially.
Except one piece.
What's that?
No good merch. He had amazing merchandise when he was working over in the British Isles, like at home. But there's nothing now. There's literally a JH shirt. That's it.
And I feel like there's the thing on my Echo show again. It distracts me. We'll talk about that in the other show too.
Yes.
Anything Impact before we keep moving?
No, it's the Joe Hendry segment, and that's what it will always be.
Ring of Honor. This one ran 136. So I'm wondering now, because they're doing the tapings with Collision, that they're starting to run it a little shorter, because 4 hours in one night, especially with the last two being uninterrupted, is they're finally going, okay, we at least need to get this to a manageable state, because maybe there's something in the works for them to be able to stream somewhere that's not Honor Club, that won't take up 2 full hours on a Friday morning, because I'm not going to watch it live.
When it takes over the spot for Rampage, that's what it's going to be.
Right. Well, and plus the fact of, I don't know why I don't watch it live, because there's no commercials anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Big Bill. I don't know if you saw this clip or not. They were having a match with the boys. And he was like, "You're not boys with me. You're not boys with him." And then points at Lexi and goes, "You better not be boys with her." And the look on her face was priceless. Like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. Okay. For those of you that don't know, those two kids are engaged. So, yeah, I thought, and he sold the crap out of it. Never broke. And I don't know if she didn't know it was coming or she just sold the crap out of it. But the look on her face was, oh, okay. Hi, everybody. We're together. And God bless you, Rigatoni.
Has there been anybody who benefited more from being fired by a company than he has?
It took a while, but he curved it around.
Yes, it did.
And I just realized I need an announce team of Shivani and Ian, and it could be Rigatoni.
That's good night, everybody.
Well, welcome, Internet. But Christopher Daniels in a match, and all of a sudden he brings up, we haven't seen Christopher Daniels' best friend Curryman in a while. And they did like 5 minutes on Curryman. And I was like, Doc would be losing its mind. Right?
Somewhere Doc just had a very satisfying fart just because of it.
He was actually right up the street from the house when I was out on Friday. Let's see here. Rip Impact is a guy. They have a guy whose name is literally Rip Impact. Adjust your rosters accordingly. Did I wake up in 1983? Still, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we have a Layla Hirsch sighting.
Yeah. Well, she is close to being back, so that's good.
No, she wrestled.
Well, no. I mean, back to 100%. She is apparently cleared and still working back into knocking off rust, building strength, and reps.
She subbed in for Maria Kanellis in the mixed tag match in the main event.
Well, anytime there is a mixed tag match, I immediately check out. I think it's the dumbest thing ever created. Allow me to put it in one context. As soon as it's tags don't matter because you can't have men versus women, it's not a tag match. Just call it a tornado tag match and go.
No, fair enough.
It's stupid.
Rampage notes. Did you watch Rampage?
I caught highlights of it. I was playing catch up earlier today.
For two groups of guys like the Elite and the Dark Order that get along as well as they do, that match was sloppy.
Yeah, well, they don't have their styles don't mesh.
But you would think about those two groups of guys that like to work together as much as they do. Get it? It was just, that was a tough match for me to watch because I was just like, I don't hate either of these teams. I'm not president of their fan club, but this match should have been better.
But at the same time, this is why we haven't seen Dark Order more, because your workhorse of the group is no longer with the group.
Yeah.
Remember, anytime we had Dark Order matches, Stu Grayson did 80 to 90% of the work.
Who apparently turned on the
Righteous.
The Righteous. I should know that because the other guy looks like I completely forgot his name. He's on the Righteous Gemstones. The guy from
are you talking about Danny McBride?
No. Isn't John Goodman on that show too?
Yes.
That he looks like John Goodman.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
The other guy.
No. I get that, but I always forget he's there.
He's got skills though.
Yeah.
And how about Chris Statlander showing some personality in that promo segment?
That's true.
Yeah. She referred to her best friends, so I'm good with it. And she will be defending the TBS title this coming Saturday night, which we'll talk about here in a minute. SmackDown, if you're ready.
I am ready.
We find out Drew McIntyre's contract is actually not up until early next year. He did make his comeback at Money in the Bank, which was probably the smartest choice for them to do. Go ahead, Alex.
Allegedly, it's going to be extended through next Mania at minimum for time missed and injury,
which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah,
and he said, like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
This is what it is right now. And he and Triple H both did some very, very good interviews about that whole situation in the last couple of weeks. There's no animosity on either side of this.
No, not at all. This is a business negotiation in the cleanest form.
Business is business. And if anybody has understood business being business, it is one Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I've always said about him. Like, he's not a guy that, especially now that he's a little older, that he doesn't put his personal feelings into stuff anymore, which is what makes it better when Vince isn't there.
True.
Because Vince will hold a grudge on you in a heartbeat.
And if you don't believe me, ask Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah. And that grudge will never go away.
I still feel bad for Shelton Benjamin.
The inverse of that is true too. Reference Hulk Hogan.
Well, the story I always remember is Mr. Fuji. Are you familiar with that one?
It's been years. But Fuji.
So Fuji was living in Tennessee, wasn't doing very well health-wise. McMahon grabbed one of the guys in catering and said, hey, here, go check on Fuji, make sure he's okay, and give him this. And it was just a brown paper bag. So the guy gets there, and Fuji's just pulling out stacks of hundreds because he takes care of his people.
Yeah, Vince does. Yeah. Let's see. I'm glad that we started with Tribal Court, because that ran 40 minutes. And it is, again, because the bloodline, it ran longer than it was scheduled to.
But at the same time, it's the best thing on that show right now, not named LA Knight.
With one of the best spots from Money in the Bank of the pin into the low blow, which I still giggle. That was brilliant. And it's just the whole when Roman was doing the whole, I don't need this. I'm like, anybody not see where this is going?
Oh, it was telegraphed as crazy, but
yeah. But I also just liked they're showing how he's gaslighting everybody, and then he proves it again, and nobody calls him on it. It's like, dude, you're doing the thing that was on the thing, bro. So,
yeah.
And boy, does Edge know how to work a room.
Oh, before we even get to that, tell me Solo is not operating at a higher level than he has any business just demonstrating emotion.
Did you see his social media post after Money in the Bank?
I saw Sefa Fatu's media post.
Exactly, showing the difference between art and art, where he was like, look, if I'm not doing this without them, they have helped me every step of the way. I have traveled the world with my family, and it just makes it that much better. And I thought that was an amazing post. And yeah, he's doing work.
Yeah.
Because he's selling the caught between two worlds thing on a level that I don't know that we've seen in a long time. Because with the Usos, they will always be the Usos.
Yes.
It can be argued that they're going to be stronger bonded to Solo than they are Roman, because that's my brother. That's my cousin. That's different. And you know that they'll always have each other's backs, because also I don't need a J. Jimmy program. I just don't.
No.
But Solo selling this bit works on a level that I have not seen in a while, and I'm full on here for it. And if this is a slow burn, this is one of the very few times that I'm like, you know what, you want to stretch this to Mania? I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, I was expecting the on whose authority is this court called. I was expecting Sika. I was expecting Rikishi. I was expecting the elders.
The rumors were flying around all week.
Mhm.
At least one of them was going to be there. But I'm kind of glad they weren't. Because if they had, again, fantasy booking, give me the booking checkbook for a year. You hit, let's just call it Rikishi. You hit Rikishi's music. He comes up, Roman says, take it to the back. The only people in this business are in this ring. This is our business. I don't need the elders. You've given me you've given me the power and the authority that I need. I'm going to need you to keep it moving. That's how I would have done it. Because it's about those 5 guys. And I'm including Heyman because Heyman's neck deep in it anyway.
Oh, 100%.
This is about these 5 guys and where it's going to go. And I'm still waiting for now. I think the Heyman turn is a very, very long-term booking, but I know it's coming because we've known Paul Heyman for almost half a century now on television, and we know what he's capable of. And again,
he's always thinking 6 moves ahead.
Love to have you, because all I will do is turn on the camera and go, please tell me stories, and just let you talk. And like I said, Edge worked MSG. That was a brilliant piece of television. And Grayson Waller's post of, last 3 weeks I've been in the ring with John Cena and Edge. I'm okay. I'm doing good.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to take my little feather in the cap right now, because I have been hammering the desk for Grayson Waller for over a year now. And the kid knows how to do everything. And he still hate him, but you're supposed to.
And that was his first match on the main roster, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, because he was healing from a broken leg.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to worry that SmackDown's getting a little heel heavy.
I think that they're trying to quit. I think that's why we also had the squash that came up later. The pseudo squash is, I think we're trying to build AJ into the face other than Jay.
And LA Knight in a dark match taking on Hit Row.
Nope. It was not a match. It was just a segment.
Oh, and did you notice anything else, a headline about him this week?
About him? No. I watched the video of what occurred during the dark segment and how I can't say Road Warrior pop, but the only time I've heard MSG pop in that level in the recent era was the surprise return of Cena at the Rumble.
I remember where I was because my sister was sitting next to me on the couch.
And you were deaf in that ear for a few weeks.
I wanted that to be Frenchie so bad, and then I lost. Today's show is brought to you by the number 5. That number represents the ranking in merchandise sales where LA Knight sits right now.
No, sir. That is actually an inaccurate statement.
Okay, go ahead.
He's in the top 5. He is 4th.
I thought they put 6 on the list because NWO was 5.
No. NWO was 5.
What's even weirder is, did you see who the number 1 was on that list?
Stone Cold?
No, he's number 3.
Okay. I remember seeing the list, but I remember seeing Cena, Stone Cold, and Cody.
It's a new list then. Because the list I saw was NWO, LA Knight, Stone Cold, Roman, Baron Corbin.
Yeah, that's not the list I saw. The list I saw that was released, God, I wish I knew where it was, but it was Roman, Cody, Stone Cold, LA Knight, NWO.
And I will tell you something. Baron Corbin going back to the Lone Wolf. Thank you, Jesus. Because when he came out at Gold Rush, that was for Don.
Yeah, except for what happened this week on NXT that I didn't think we were going to talk about. He came out as the Lone Wolf. There was a vignette this week that basically said, no more gimmicks. Not doing the lone wolf, not doing happy, not doing any of that. Burn the ships. And I'm like, I know what that means. Let's go.
Then he had a George Michael Freedom 90 video moment. For those of you that may be joining us for the first time, I will do a deep cut on you every once and again. AEW Collision. I have no notes, but they did announce that Battle of the Belts 7 is this Saturday night after Collision. I believe that will be pre-taped because they'll be taping Ring of Honor.
Really? You didn't have a note on QT Marshall?
I try not to have notes on QT Marshall if I don't have to.
That's also fair. But the idea that he directly, inadvertently, whatever, cost Hobbs, I was like, okay, let's get Hobbs back to just being a killer on his own. That's what I've been asking for because QTV is stupid. But at least it's kind of funny to have Johnny TV because all I can think of is that it doesn't stand for television. It's just Johnny's Taya Valkyrie.
I will say that the Johnny super kicking the phone into the garbage can was kind of a cool bit. That was neat because it showed up again in my feed this morning. I was like, I've already seen this. It was on the show. MLW news this week.
Yeah, a lot of MLW news.
We have a new champion that happened last night at Never Say Never.
Yes.
Alex Hammerstone's 650-day championship reign is over thanks to one Alex Kane. And Ricardo Rodriguez, who is now going by his actual name, Jesus Rodriguez, is working as a performer and a producer.
Yes.
And they've announced...
I want to say every belt moved in that company except the middleweight.
4 more pay-per-views this year, sir.
Yep.
For them. Fury Road will be in Philly at the 2300 Arena September the 9th. Slaughterhouse will be October the 14th. Fightland 2023 a little bit later this year on November 18th, the weekend before Survivor Series. And One Shot, all one word, will be December the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got going for you.
Although anything for them, it's more special events than it is pay-per-views.
Well, that's how they labeled it in the story I read.
But for the sake of argument and clarity, it is special events that they are running, but not necessarily on typical pay-per-view providers. So if you can't find them, not surprising.
Most of it will be on Fight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never been to an MLW show, it's a great time, but budget your time because you're going to be there for a while.
Well, and we've mentioned a lot of title changes, but I want to make sure to highlight one before we hit the road.
Yep.
Richard Holiday is now a champion at an indie promotion, coming full circle in his return from the Big C. Congratulations, Richard.
We love Richard Holiday. We're big fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to see him back in the ring doing what he does. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, we got a lot covered, and we're going to have a lot more here top of the hour.
Yeah, coming up at the top of the hour will be the Clubhouse podcast. Follow those as well. We'll be live on those streams as well. Make sure that you follow us on all your social medias. Everything is the Cheap Popcast. All 3 words in that order. You will wind up somewhere else. The website is coming, I promise. You can follow me on your social media if you like. Everything is Yes That Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I am Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, please go to ProWrestlingTees.com/TheCheapPopcast. All one word, spelled like that. We got a lot of different options, a lot of different color options within those options. If you have any art you'd like to contribute or any suggestions that you have, you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
The official fact checker of Sooner Gator Productions is Don Ford. He should be back next week. On Twitter, you can find him at Igbunu, IGBUNUUU. Charlotte Marshall is on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to stay at our normal show every Sunday evening at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific is your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. So until next time, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. This has been the Cheap Popcast Clubhouse podcast coming at the top of the hour. Good night, everybody.